Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabil Mustafa. I'm from 1101. Okay, long time no see. After I took a break of chilling, not taking a video about the summary again. Like usual, this time I want to examine a study case about Apple stores. This study case is from Harvard Business School. Okay, but we will talk with chill like usual. I talk frequently chill and I got a drink on me. Okay. Let's talk about the study case. Okay. First off, in January, the year of 2000, Ron Johnson joined Apple Computer as senior vice president. After serving as vice president of merchandising at Target, his core mission was to conceptualize and build Apple's very own brick and mortar retail stores. The very first Apple stores opened in May, the year of 2001, in McLean, Virginia, and Glendale, California. Just about seven months later, a total of 27 identical stores had been successfully launched across the United States. Ron Johnson's vision was Ron Johnson frequently toured stores to ensure that every operational detail was strictly under his control, emphasizing that the store experience needed to remain identical every single day, hour, and location. The Apple was founded in 1976 by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Okay. They were building an early market leadership of over 15% in 1980 based on design, innovation, and hardware-software integration. However, following the IBM's market entry in 1981 and Steve Jobs' departure in 1985, Apple's market share gradually dwindled down to about 3%, and the Steve Jobs returned as interim CEO in July 1997, reviving product innovation, user-friendliness, and launching the colorful, internet-friendly iMac in 1998, which sold about 9 million units between Alhamdulillah. Once again, sorry. Between 1988 1998 and 2001. Despite these hits, Apple's market share remains locked at 3% in the US and 5% globally. The rest of personal computer industry relied heavily on logistics, supply chains, low prices, and Microsoft Windows running on Intel microprocessor, and or it can be called as Wintel, maybe. I don't know how to pronounce it. And Dell led the market with 14% share, while computers were mostly sold as standard boxes without much thought given to user needs. Okay, I will take a sip of my drinks. Apple recognized that the digital age was shifting consumer lifestyles toward digital music and images. Apple products like iPod, iPhoto, and new iMac positioned the computer as a digital hub to control user digital lifestyles through seamless integration. To counter consumer fears regarding software or file compatibility, Apple adopted the umbrella message, "Everything is easier on a Mac," shifting in the narrative away from technical specification and onto lifestyle issues. Internally, the motivational slogan, 5 down, 95 to go. 5 down, 95 to go, drove the team toward capturing the remaining 95% of the market. The traditional third-party electronics dealers couldn't properly showcase Apple's complex lifestyle proposition. To solve this, Ron Johnson assembled a 19-person cross-industry team, including members from hotels and restaurants, to study service models focused on hospitality rather than traditional sales. This brainstorming session resulted in the Credo, a small folded card carried by every employee detailing their mission: enriching people's life with innovative, easy-to-use technology. An initial budget of $84 million was allocated to launch the retail project, and the average store measured about 7,000 square feet with 4,500 square feet open to the public, to the real dedicated to inventory and service workshops. Like the storefronts featured bold black window borders and minimal signage. Just a 2-foot with Apple logo on either side of the entrance. Located at the front quarter, featuring home products on the right, everything is easier on a Mac, and professional system on the left. Okay, I will take a sip of Majung Ding. Sorry. And then occupying the center half of the store, divided into music, movies, photos, and kids shops areas with dedicated experimental bin-shaped altars and workstations. Positioned with a 10-foot projection screen, a speed dash, and 4 benches arranged in the square to host live software presentation and stream events like Macworld. And then it was the theater. I was talking about the theater, and then I will talking about the Genius Bar, located at the back as technical support hub, complete with stools, water bottles, a red direct telephone to Cupertino headquarters, and a famous wall poster honoring historical visionaries. The poster told, "Here's to the crazy ones. Here is to the crazy ones." The center featured 5-foot high black shelves stocking 300 software titles, while 36 fully internet connected computers sat on display for unrestricted public use, completely free for bulky boxes or retail clutter. And then the turnover, while typical retail turnover range between 50% and 80%, Apple's focus on consumer experiences rather than aggressive selling kept turnover remarkably low. It's only about 37 separations out of 705 initial employees. Apple tapped into its passionate base of loyal Mac users to hire highly qualified personnel. The employees were trained to give customers a ride, a short, fun, and roller coasters-like experience consisting of personalized suggestion, demonstration, or solution rather than pushy sales pitches. And then a typical store team consisted of roughly 20 members, including sales associates, 1 or 2 geniuses, and a store manager. Job descriptions explicitly called for cultural alignment, deep technological passion, and then the ability to translate complex techno speak into a simple term. Okay, thank you for watching. Sorry when I said I stuttered because this is my first video since I take a hiatus. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.